Hello, Hannah. Hello, Luck. Congrats on getting first, second, and third, Hannah, and collecting your 55 expired candies. Good morning. Actually, good afternoon, Luck. How are you? How are you, Hannah? How is everyone? Also, someone pick a number for me. Pick a number between like 1 and 10. Hi, Creavy. How are you? Thank you for collecting your daily expired candy as well, Creavy. 2? 1, 2. Sorry, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dang it. I had my Pokemon pole in my hand. And I was hoping for something new, but I did not get anything new. Creevy, how are you? I don't think I have updated my shoutout bot. I have not, so I'm gonna do that now. This should work. Yes. There we go. Lots of errands, and that's good. I did watch you play Dispatch last night. How was that? Every so often I need to update my shoutout bot. Which, while I'm here, I might as well just do that right now. I've seen it. I just haven't had the chance to actually like sit down and think like, oh, is this something that I want to play? I wonder why some people are on here twice. Surprisingly, really? Okay, that's fine for now. So hold on, I'm going to get a jacket because I'm kind of cold. And I just need to make sure I'm not going to run over any cans. My mango, my bear. And I need to get the cat. I have your toy here. I have your chew toy up here, so don't start chewing on my chair, please. Okay, I am now cozy. Very, very cozy. Getting colder. So, I hope everyone's well today. I typically do not stream on Thursdays, but we're kind of streaming out of Smite today because someone thought they knew my stream schedule, but they didn't, and then they realized they messed up badly, and I told them I don't stream Thursdays, and they're just like, I thought you streamed every Thursday. I'm just like, haven't streamed a Thursday in a very, very long time. And so out of Smite, we're streaming today. I'm literally only streaming out of Smite. But I was also thinking, you know what? It's been like a week or two. It's probably been like 2 weeks since I've done some Reddit stories. So I was just like, you know what? Let's do a Smite stream, but also let's just read some Reddit and hang out. Hello, Charlie. Isn't it really late for you? No, this is the same model. I haven't updated it yet. Is your memory going again, Hannah? Yeah, it's not changed. It's still the same. Probably. But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations on what you guys would like to read, you're working on a Chibis tonight? We love Chibis. Chibis are so cute. No, I'm trying to get like even more comfy. My eyes have been weird recently, so that might be. Yeah. Guys, I almost got my eye place almost gaslit me again. But this time I was just so done with him that I did not want to argue. Also, okay, this is something that I learned today. And for those of you who are streamers or want to be streamers, I found out another layer of Twitch's streaming stuff, which I think is really dumb. So we all know that Twitch now requires you to interact with the streamer's chat in some way, whether it's redeeming something with channel points or just typing in the chat. But apparently, to be counted as a viewer for the whole entire stream, you have to do it every 30 minutes. And I'm just like, what? That's so dumb. So if you don't interact every 30 minutes, they're gonna just consider you as a bot even though you've already chatted. No, so you basically can't lurk anymore, and they really only count like mildly active chatters, which I think is so dumb. And like that gets rid of literally it gets rid of so many people who just like to listen. Yeah, because there's also been people who tested it out too. They had their community not type anything for 30 minutes, and then their viewer count went down, and no one ever left the chat. And as soon as the 30 minutes hit and they typed in again, the number shot up. And as soon as 30 minutes passed, the number went down. And it's so dumb. And so it's just kind of like, people are just like, oh, as long as you continue to stream regularly, like, you'll be fine. So that doesn't even matter anymore. Like, you might have a community that's just full of lurkers, which is completely fine. But the thing is, like, if no one chats at all, Twitch is just gonna say that you're gonna have like 3 viewers or 2 viewers the whole entire time when there's a bunch more people. Help, I'm kidnapped while staying in Guam in the back of a pickup truck. Here's the thing, Guam is an island. I don't think there's gonna be a pickup truck. Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different truck. I was thinking of a semi-truck. Hi, Sweet Roll. Also, Sweet Roll, since you're here, we have YouTube chat here too. You guys can't see the YouTube chat, but I have considered moving or dual streaming to TikTok. I'm looking into it. I've really thought about it, but I'm just like not sure if I want to do the switch. We'll see. They want to make it hard to get partner, I assume. But even to begin with that, it's already hard to become partner, because I know someone who it took them a few months to become partner, because even though they already hit the requirements of 75 concurrent viewers over 6 streams, and then stream 25 out of the 30 days. And then there was another requirement. I can't remember. But so my friend had applied for partner because she hit all the requirements. But Twitch came back and they basically emailed her and said, well, you only hit that for 1 month. We actually review like your prior months to see if you've hit 75 in the prior months. So we want to make sure that you actually stay consistent rather than this being just a one-time fluke. So they do take into consideration like past months. So it's just kind of like, there's so much that they don't say. You only find that out until you actually apply for it. And it's one of those things that, yeah, instead of that, just be like outright with it. Do partner streamers even make that much? You really have to stream a lot and have a lot of viewership because then you'll get a lot of ad revenue. You'll get sponsors. Um, you won't, I feel like you won't get much from subs. Your 50% subs, I think, will turn into like currently the streamer gets 50% of the subs. I think once you become partner, you get 75% of the sub. But I believe that you do have to get a certain amount of subs every single month to continuously get an increased price of the sub. Which is why it's so much nicer to use bits, because with bits, the streamer gets 80% of the bits. It really is a big grind, unfortunately. Hi, Nix, how are you? I'm special over here. Why are you in Guam to begin with, Suirol? Like, that's my first question. Why are you over in Guam? But yeah, if that's something to be aware of if you ever decide to apply for partner, and if you are a streamer, um, because it really does make a difference now. Which is why Stream Elements is going to every so often assault you with please interact with the stream, because even literally just saying hi counts you as which is so dumb. Hi, One Piece. One Piece. Remember how yesterday you said you thought that I stream Thursdays? And I said no. Well, guess what? I'm streaming Thursday. I'm streaming today, a Thursday, because you thought I streamed today. So I'm doing the stream out of Smite. Because I don't typically stream Thursdays. I stream Fridays. So we're here. And congrats on Charlie, Hannah, and One Piece for the 3-stream streak. Thank you for always stopping by, Nix. Songkotsu, hello, welcome on in. Thank you for collecting your daily expired candy if you haven't done so. Please do so. Reverse? What do you mean reverse? Uno. Well, I should play Uno on stream one day. But yeah. That's the thing too. It's just like there's so many people now who on the Thursday thing. Yeah. There's so many people now who have redeems of just like a silent lurk. Which, you know what? I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna do that right now with you guys. Let me just like make sure that okay. I'm gonna make a new redeem. We're gonna make a new redeem, and it's gonna be called a silent lurk. So if someone does a silent lurk, I'm not going to acknowledge them if they don't want me to. Moderation setting, viewer rewards. How do I do this again? Oh, if I do this, I have to. Dang it. I forgot. If I do this, I have to change the color of everything. Hmm. Unless I make three redeems. That's a thought. I just had an idea. We're gonna do it. Um, it is. I only learned about it this morning, and I was kind of shocked. So we're gonna do Silent Lurk. And you guys can tell this to all of your streamer friends too. Because it's sad about how much of a difference it makes. Like, in all honesty, it makes such a big difference. Okay, we're gonna do this one as just one. How do I move stuff around? How do I move stuff around on here? Wait, how do I do this? So can you, okay, you guys can see the Silent Lurk now. So there's a Silent Lurk. Add another one. Acknowledged, acknowledged Lurk. So I right now have a Silent Lurk, and then we have a um hold on, let me do something. No, I'm gonna change that. I don't like that color. But we'll do that. We'll see how that looks. I think it's the same color. Oh, yeah, it's like I'm trying to get it so it can be pretty. And then we will do some reading. There we go. And then we will edit this one. And then we're gonna do one more. So we have a Silent Lurk. So the Silent Lurk is that if you want is that if you want to lurk and not be acknowledged, you can click that one so that you can just state that you're lurking, but I won't say hi to you. Like, I'll let you lurk in silence. And then there's the acknowledged lurk where I'll say, like, hi to you, I'll thank you for lurking, maybe ask you how you're doing. You can continue to lurk. And we'll do a third one. I'm here. I'm still. Let's see. I'm still. I'm still here. Okay. And then this one's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be 1. Okay. So, as you guys can see, we now have. How do I change this? How do I move stuff in here? No, that's not right. How did I do this? There we go. Yes. I don't know how to change it so that first goes in the third row and acknowledged lurk goes in the first row. I kind of forgot how to stream. I could have sworn that you could change placement. But maybe not. But we'll keep people on their toes. Because when does it go? Does it go in alphabetical? No, it shouldn't go in alphabetical order. I'm not looking like all of these rewards. Hmm. Okay, we'll just leave it as it is. But as you guys can see, we have 3 new buttons. It's silent lurk, I won't acknowledge you. Acknowledge lurk, I'll acknowledge you, say hello. And then the I'm still here. If you're lurking and you just want to interact with the stream just so you can interact, you can just hit that one. See, I could have sworn the way that this thing was. Huh, okay. Well, we are gonna go into Reddit stories then. Are you guys ready for Reddit stories? I know I am. So I was looking at a couple of these beforehand, and I found an interesting one. It's creepy. So, if it's nighttime where you're at, or early in the morning, you might just get a chill down your spine. So, I found this one. It's long. Let's see if we can zoom in so that you guys can see it just a little bit better. That one's not it. Or I guess I can't. Why can't I just do like 270, 225? Alright, so you guys will see that much. I'm gonna spit out my gum for now. I'm gonna drink a sip of water. And then we will dive right into this story. Shokin, welcome on in. Thank you for collecting your daily expired candy. We're gonna snooze this ad for now. But, so this is a scary story that my grandma used to tell me when I was little. There's one that I'll never forget. When I was 10 years old, I was 10 years old when my grandma came to live with us. It was about 6 months after Granddad passed away, and I guess, looking back, she must have been lonely in that big house of theirs, rattling around with only the grief and the memories for company. So despite a few protests from my mum, my parents took her in. There are no protests from me, none at all. Grandma was loud and fun, and I loved her. She had an almost limitless supply of boiled sweets, and she'd always slip me a couple whenever she saw me. She was always the first to stick up for me when I got into trouble, too. But it was her stories that I loved the best. Grandma had all kinds of stories. Stories about growing up during World War II, and stories about the things she'd get up to with her friends on the South Coast, after her family had been evacuated. Sad stories, funny stories, adventurous stories. But it was her scary stories that were my favorite. Grandma had lots of scary stories. She told me she dabbled in the occult when she was a teenager, trying Ouija boards with her friends, tarot cards, fortune telling, all that stuff. Most of the stories I'd laugh off or forget about not long after she was done telling them. But there were a couple that really did spook me a bit. I was only 10 at the time. You have to understand. And Grandma certainly knew how to bring the stories to life. She'd shut off the lights in my room so only the glow of the night sky shone through the curtains. And she'd shuffle in real close, close enough so I could see the wrinkles on her face and smell the boiled sweets on her breath, close enough so her deep blue eyes could stare straight into mine. She must have given me nightmares with a few of those tales. But now, years later, there's only one that I can still remember. The only one that stuck with me. The story about the shower and Mr. Longfingers. Grandma told me about Mr. Longfingers one night after I asked about her baths. Grandma used to love her bath. She spent ages in them, lit candles and incense, and lie in the tub humming to herself until the water turned cold. It drove Mum crazy. But when I asked her why she loved them so much, she said it was the only place she could relax. It was the only place that was safe for her to relax. You know, people like me who are, well, more sensitive to certain things. We have to have baths, she told me. Seriously, one night, shuffling closer on the bed, I couldn't possibly spend that long in the shower. It'd be far too risky. Grandma stared at me with those long, blue eyes of her, unsmiling. and I knew it was time for one of her stories, one of the scary ones. I shivered with pleasure and pulled the covers up to my chin. Why is it risky, Grandma? She half turned to look out the window, watching me from the corner of her eye, pausing for effect. I waited, feeling my heart rate pick up ever so slightly in my chest. Well, she said after a moment, it's only risky if you close your eyes, of course. If you close your eyes for longer than 10 seconds. What do you mean? Why? Well, do you ever play that game in the playground with your friends? The one where someone turns their back and sneaks up on them when they're not looking? I nodded, and Grandma nodded back. Exactly. So that's what it's like in the shower, when you have your eyes closed. That's what it's like with Mr. Longfingers. A cold itch tickled my back. Who's Mr. Longfingers, Grandma? She let out a deep breath, as if she wished she hadn't said anything, turned her head back to face mine. When she spoke next, she lowered her voice. No one knows exactly, Grandma whispered. Some think it's a creature that's attracted to the heat and smell we give off. Others think it's a demon that finds its way into our realm through dense steam clouds. No one can say for sure because the only ones who have actually seen Mr. Longfingers aren't ever going to be able to tell you. I pull a breath in. Why not? Grandma shuffled closer along the bed, leaned towards me, leaving my question hanging in the air. Don't you worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry your pretty head. As long as you remember the rules, you'll be fine. What rules? Well, when you're in the shower, you try not to close your eyes for too long. 5 seconds is fine. 10 is just okay too, but any longer than that. Yeah, then what? Well, any longer than that and you may just start to feel something in the room with you. Something watching. And if you ever go longer than 15 seconds, that's when you might just start to hear noises too. Hear what? The soft tap, tap, tap of fingers on glass. Fingers strumming against the glass door of the shower. If you do ever hear that noise, God forbid will you make me a promise. What, Grandma? Promise me you'll never open your eyes. I barely slept that night, hardly at all. I'd close my eyes and try to relax, but every time I did, I'd imagine a face pressed up against my bedroom window staring in at me. And when I finally did get to sleep, I had nightmares. Bad ones. I had them all week, in fact. Dreams about disembodied eyes watching me in the dark. Long fingers reaching out to touch my exposed skin. It wasn't any better when I was awake, either. Not really. The shower was the worst. When Grandma's story really got to me, I never thought about it before, but suddenly I had trouble shutting my eyes in there. I'd be standing beneath the beating water, shampoo running down my face. And as soon as I squinted my eyelids close, I'd hear Grandma's words running through my head. 5 seconds is fine. 10 is just about okay too. But any longer than that, I'd rub my hair fast, feeling the shampoo drip off my chin. And as soon as I counted past 5, I'd feel it. A sort of pressure. Not a feeling of being watched, exactly. But something close to that. I'd run my fingers faster and faster through my hair, frantically trying to get the suds out, and the ready blackness behind my closed eye coupled with the rush of water in my ears would feel like a held breath. The silence before a scream. The seconds would race through my mind, and I'd be so desperate to open my eyes again that sometimes I'd do it before my hair was fully rinsed, and my eyes would sting with shampoo. But before I shut them again, I'd always be sure to peer out through the steamed glass door of a shower cubicle, just to make sure I was alone. It wasn't long before Mum realized something was up. She heard me crying out in my sleep one night and came in to comfort me. Asked me what was the matter, and it all came out. I told her about Grandma's story, about Mr. Longfingers. She got this look on her face when I was telling her, like she used to get with me when I made her really mad. This wide-eyed, angry look. Only this time she wasn't angry with me. She was angry with Grandma. My parents' room was next to mine, and sometimes, if I pressed my ear against the wall, I could hear them talking in there, soft whispers. That night, though, after my mom was satisfied I wasn't scared anymore, she'd gone back to her room, and the whispers weren't soft at all. Oh no. I heard Mom hissing to Dad about Grandma, about the story she told me. Mom's voice floated through the walls, sharp and crisp. You know what your mother said to him? Don't you, Simon? Dad's response was unintelligible mutter. She told him that there's a monster that'll get him if he shuts his eye in the shower. A monster. The poor kid's been having nightmares about it all week. Seriously, Simon, you better say something to her tomorrow. First thing or I will. Grandma came to visit me in my room the following night. That time, as she perched on the end of my bed, there were no stories, nothing like that. Grandma just sat there and stared down at me, her blue eyes wide and sad. The light from the moon outside my window lit up her wrinkled face. You know, I'd never let anything bad happen to you, don't you? She said after a moment. I nodded my head. I know, Grandma. You know I wouldn't let you come to any harm. I nodded again. Okay, good. That's good. She looked away from me for a moment, out the window. You know, the things I tell you in the evening are meant to help you, sweetheart. They're meant to toughen you up a bit, protect you. She paused and shook her head. But maybe your mom's right. Maybe I went too far this time. She looked down at me and smiled, but then, even though I was only 10 years old, I could tell it didn't quite reach her eyes. I'll tell you what, Grandma said. You know what I told you about Mr. Longfingers in the shower? Well, I'm going to make sure you are safe. I'll scare the guy off, how about that? It won't come back in a hurry if it has to face me. I stared up at Grandma, watching her face glow in the moonlight, watching her smile down at me, and I nodded my head once. I was the one who found her. I don't know when exactly it happened, but I guess it was about a week after we had that talk in my room. A week after she told me she wouldn't let it come to any harm. I woke up early that morning from a bad dream. A heavy thumping sound. I sat bolt upright in my bed. My room was quiet around me and I couldn't hear anything from the wall that joined my parents' room either. But the house wasn't entirely silent. Floating down the hall, muffled by my closed door, I could hear the sound of rushing water. The noise of a shower. I leapt out of the bed and ran down the upstairs hallway, heart already pounding my chest. As soon as I reached the closed bathroom door, I started banging on it. A deep terror welling up inside me like the cold water from the well, something I couldn't place. And I kept banging and shouting, Grandma, over and over again, even though she didn't respond. Off to my right, I was dimly aware of the voices from my parents' room, the sleepy shuffle of footsteps, but before they had a chance to make it out into the landing, I'd lifted my hand to test out the door handle, more out of instinct because I thought it might actually open. But the door wasn't locked. I kept banging with my free hand and it swung suddenly inwards, bringing me face to face with a wall of steam. Heat struck my skin. I squinted my eyes against the damp fog and peered into the bathroom. And before Dad pushed me to one side, before everything around me descended into shouting, tears, and chaos, I saw her. I saw Grandma. She was lying naked on the floor in the shower cubicle, the water beating down around her, blue eyes bulging from her face. One hand was curled against her chest, one like a dead bird, while the other trailed against the glass of the shower cubicle, the flailing finger marks she carved through the steam still clear and fresh. It was a heart attack that killed her. That's what my dad told me. He said Grandma was old, and the thing had struck her quickly and suddenly. She would have died fast and without pain, Dad said. She wouldn't have suffered. I knew better, though. Even as a 10-year-old kid, I knew better. And years later, writing this as an adult, I still know better. I also know my wife and kids resent me for refusing to have a shower in the house, for insisting everyone take baths. They pretend it's okay, and they humor me. But I can tell they really don't understand it. Not at all. My wife thinks she does. She thinks I still carry the trauma of seeing my grandmother dying in front of me when I was little. I guess she's right in a way. But she doesn't know the full truth. Nobody does. And no one would believe me if I told them. No one would believe me if I said the reason I don't take showers, the reason I haven't had one since I was 10 years old, isn't because I'm scared of the sight of a dead body. It's because all of those years ago, when I crept back into the still hot bathroom after the paramedics had taken Grandma's body downstairs, I made sure to check the marks her fingers had carved through the steam glass of the shower cubicle. And those marks weren't just on the inside. That's creepy. Girls, I have to take a shower later. I have to take a shower later. I did not pre-read this story. I saw that was a long story and it was a creepy one. And I'm just like, yep, we're gonna go with this. Let's see. Thank you, just in time for story time listening. Perfect. Promise you'll never open your eyes. My own fault for not listening. These ads are getting more colorful each day. I've been told my mom had to have a talk with Grandma at some point for telling me scary stuff. Glad to know what happens to others. Hello, Leaf. Why are you dying? I refuse to believe this man never took a shower and got a wife. Just don't close your eyes longer than 10 seconds. You'll be good. You know what's interesting? I as a kid was always so terrified when I took showers and I closed my eyes for a solid period of time. I always thought when I opened them that someone would be standing literally outside of the shower cubicle. I was always terrified of that. Don't know why. But now it doesn't bother me. Yeah. As long as it's, and I think lately I've haven't been closing my eyes because I haven't had a need to. But yeah, as long as it's not no longer than 10 seconds, it's fine. But I also wonder if it only happens to people who know the story. There's so many people who will completely shower with their eyes closed the whole entire time and they're fine. What if it's as soon as you learn of the story, it happens that he shows up? Grandma passed the curse. You know, that might be it. Grandma passed the curse. That literally might be it. It might have been just a curse on the family. And she's just I'm never gonna let it happen to you again because I'm gonna let it take me instead. What if she took it with her? Instead of passing it down, but what if she took the curse with her? That was an interesting one. Our story number 2 and 3. Something about the shower tub does that. Maybe for me, because hide and seek with people hiding behind or trying to prank scare. In the back of my mind, I still question for a split second if something's behind the curtain. You never recover. Thank God I don't have a curtain, and it's literally a clear glass pane. I hate curtains though. I agree. There's definitely something about it of just opening the curtain and thinking, is someone just gonna be there? Yeah, curtains are horrible. Also, this is a really stupid question. Okay, anytime I go to a hotel, it's almost always curtains. How do you get it so that the water doesn't drip out of the tub or out of the bath, out of the shower? Every time I take a shower at a hotel, the water always drips out of the shower area. And it's always curtains. It's always the curtain's fault. That was an interesting one. You don't? I've accepted it as part of a life. Drink it? My bad. You put the curtain inside the tub, not outside. Even when I put it inside the tub, it still drips outside somehow. Got another bronchitis attack. Are you in the hospital? I hope you're in the hospital. Skill issue. Hotel issue. I blame it on the hotel. But Nurse Hana attack is here to fix me? Oh, I just noticed that little skull next to your name. Wait, that's cute. This badge was earned by users who shared the best 2025 Fright Fest. Oh my god. Dang it. That thing's cute. I like that. I have a banana next to my name. Wait, let's click story number 2. Why does this seem like the similar story as the last one? I don't know if this would... no, we're not gonna do this one. I'm so jealous of that. It's so cute. I'm jealous of that. So we're gonna go back to this one. Creepypastas. Oh, you know what? There was one that I wanted to look at. There was some that I wanted to look at. And I just can't remember the name of it. What was it? Games you shouldn't play? Is that what it was? Oh, I think it was games you shouldn't play alone. Shokin, thank you for the follow. I give you hearts. I can get I give you hearts. Scary games you shouldn't play alone. Shokin, how are you doing today? Oh, scary games to... Was that what it was? Stories? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what the scary story was. Oh, thanks. No problem. You have a pleasant reading voice. Oh, thank you. is this the one that I'm looking at? Yeah, we're gonna read this one. Doing well was a quiet day, but this weekend will be a bit more busy. I feel that. Tomorrow's Friday, at least, so I'm very happy about that. Which is great. Very happy it's Friday tomorrow. Okay. We're gonna read this one. The Midnight Game. We will wait until the ads are over. Looking around for another water bottle. I might, after the story, I might have to go get another water bottle. Yeah, because I don't have another one in here. Yeah, I'm okay. One more second. Alright. The Midnight Game Real Experience. This story goes back many years from now. I was a small boy, only in 4th grade. My friends and I became obsessed over the Midnight Game, an ancient pagan ritual that has since become a game like Bloody Mary that thrill seekers participate in. The Midnight Game ritual goes like this. Everyone participating in the game must write their full name on a sheet of paper and shed a drop of blood onto said paper. Secondly, you must ensure every light in your house is turned off and take your signed blood-stained paper to the front of your house. Said door must be made of wood. Each person participating in the game then lights a candle outside the front door, places their candle on top of the paper, and knocks on the door 22 times, ensuring that the last knock occurs when the clock strikes midnight. You then blow out your candle, walk back inside, and reignite your flame. You know you've summoned the Midnight Man. You must roam the house with no light source, other than the small flame provided by your candle, turning the smallest of hallways into a seemingly endless void of unknown darkness until 3:33 a.m. So my friends and I decided to orchestrate a sleepover one weekend and gave this ritual a try. And the outcome left me genuinely and utterly petrified. Which is why I am writing this story 23 years later. After my friends and I completed the knocking part of the ritual, we darted back into the house after blowing out our candles to relight them. As we were absolutely horrified of the uncertainty. I remember the manner of how we darted inside, leaving our signed blood-stained paper in complete unorganized disaster. Outside my front door, the front door of my house enters into a small hallway that goes straight to the living room. And on the right side, there's a staircase that wraps around the wall of my kitchen and pantry that is beside my living room. My friends and I immediately sprinted up those stairs, miraculously not putting out any of our candle flames. Once we reached the game room, we set up a fort of couch cushions due to the fear of uncertainty. Now the rules of the game stated that we are meant to roam the house and not remain in one position. But to be straight up, the 9-year-old kids we were did not summon the courage to do so. That was until about 12:50 a.m. I got the idea to go downstairs to get some energy drinks out of the fridge, so that we did not go to sleep. However, I was not going to do it alone, so I convinced one of my 3 friends to come with me. We slowly started creeping down the wrapping staircase. As we come around the corner of the wall, we can see that the front door and the front porch through the window. This is the moment I realized we may have made a very poor decision. The papers with our names had blood had somehow been placed in a perfect half circle around my front door on the porch. We immediately sprinted back upstairs under pure terror. We arrived back at the cushion fort we constructed and tell the others what we saw. They saw the terror in our faces and believed us right away. We sat in our fort for another 30 minutes, facing the stairs with all of our candles light trembling in fear, unable to see the start of the stairwell covered in darkness. This was when things got worse. We started to hear heavy footsteps stomping up the stairs slowly, but when they arrived to what sounded at the top, the sounds just stopped. We knew something was standing there, staring at us. This is when my candlelight went out. According to the rules of the game, I have 10 seconds to reignite my flame, or I lose, in which the Midnight Man will induce hallucinations of my worst fear, or take my soul. Luckily, I was able to reignite my flame in what seemed like less than 10 seconds. I calmed down a few seconds later. I realized that the room had become extremely cold. The temperature change was so rapid that it would be impossible to be air conditioning. At this point, we renovated our cushion fort with blankets covering the top, giving the perception of a sandbag bunker in World War II. It was now 2 a.m., and the fear was still thriving in each and every one of us. We couldn't help but start to continuously peek outside of our fort. Immediately as I peek outside, I looked towards the stairwell. The guest bedroom door that was previously closed was now open. With a small light source from the street lights outside, I saw it. A tall, dark figure outlined in the darkness by the faint shimmer of light. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed by fear, and I knew that this could not be my parents, as the figure seemed to be around 8 feet tall. Finally, my friends pulled me down and whispered, "What do you see?" I reluctantly told him. His and the rest of my friends' eyes quickly widened in fright. The friend who pulled me down says, "We cannot look back out there." However, in my mind, I'm thinking, he knows we're here. Hiding will do nothing. But my friends are now crying, begging me not to look again. The rest of the game until 3:33 a.m., we sat in our fort that was cold to the point we were all shivering, just waiting and listening as heavy, stomping footsteps sounded from the guest bedroom and up and down the stairs. When 3:33 a.m. arrived, we immediately turned on all the lights upstairs. Give me 1 second. I am being summoned. Also, hello, Sweet Roll. Sorry, one of my cats had a tick. I grabbed water while I was at it. Yeah, tick extraction is an urgent thing because my cats have ticks all over. So as soon as we see a tick, we're just like, we need to take it out. Okay. When 3:33 a.m. arrived, we immediately turned on all the lights upstairs and did not go back downstairs until the sun came up. We never slept until the next night, defeated by deprivation. To this day, I still have zero explanation for what happened. It was something I still cannot fathom. I've asked my parents many times when I visited now, as an adult, if they've played any part in my terrifying experience, but they have no answers and laughed off my childless past, unaware of the severity and terror of that night. Welcome back. You hate that our dog had to have one removed? Like, yeah, I had to remove one from my cat a couple weeks ago, and that thing was like the size of like a rice puff. That thing was huge. Those things are massive the second they start like sucking blood. Also, with the Midnight Game, it's really, I've read a couple of books, and there is a book that is published that is called The Midnight Game. And this basically like sums up the whole entire game. But it's just so interesting to see that people are actually playing the game. Are there any other rules for the game? I think one of the rules was, it's crazy how big they get. We didn't see this one for a bit because it was like, yeah, with cats, some of their furs are super thick. So unless you're like actively like looking, like it's so easy to miss. Like dogs who have short-haired dogs, you can definitely see them easier. Long-haired dogs, you're gonna miss those so quickly. Same with my cats. Like my short-haired cats, you don't really see ticks on them too often. Um, but the cats that are like long-haired and they have a super thick coat, like you have to like really try to even just see their skin. Yeah, it's an actual game people play. Here's another one. I would never play this. Oh, this is a long one. Oh my god, they detailed everything. They detailed everything. We're gonna read this one. It's called The Midnight Game. I do not recommend. Wait, they give us photos of their houses. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Wait, we're gonna do this. I can read. I may have permanent head damage, but I can read. Guys, we're gonna read this. After the ad break. I so in so I read the book The Midnight Game, which it details the pagan game, the Midnight Game. And it also discussed other games that like people shouldn't play. Um
I
I
like
think one of them,
turtles.
oh my god. I think one of them was called King's Corner. There was another one where I think it was called The Unknown Road. And with that one, I really want to find this now. It's like, what is it called? Games you shouldn't, like, Games you should never play. Oh, okay, I found something similar to it. Why do you keep on licking me? Why must you lick me? Okay, I'm gonna apologize for you guys. This page is very bright. I have just gone blind. There's no way for me to get this thing to any way to get this to dark mode? No, I'm just gonna go blind for a little bit, and so is everyone else. We're gonna read this scary story, these scary games first, and then we're gonna go back to the midnight game, so you guys have an understanding of what it is. And I'm sorry for how bright it is. Let me see if I can just... Okay, I'm sorry it's bright. So, I know my eyes are hurting too. So, Elevator to Another Dimension. This game comes from Korea, and playing it is said to take you to an entirely different universe via the elevator you're in. All you need is a building with elevators and 10 floors. Make sure you board the elevator. You're alone. Once you're in the elevator, you visit the floor in this sequence: 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5. It is said that when you reach the 5th floor, a woman will enter, provided you did the ritual right. The woman will ask you where you're going, but you should remain silent. The woman will ask you where you're going. Don't reply to her. Then the elevator will automatically ascend to the 10th floor, instead of going down to the ground floor. When you get to the 10th floor this time, you can leave, and you'll be in an entirely different world. Once you're tired of the new dimension, you can enter the elevator again. Come back down to your own world using the same combination. The real scare happens if you answer the woman. Nobody who's ever answered the woman has lived to tell a tale. So that's the Elevator to Another Dimension. I have heard of that. The Three Kings Ritual. Another famous game. It is said to enable you to tap into another dimension. You need to play this in a particularly large room, like a courtroom, and there must not be any natural light in the room. So you'll do well to try this in a basement. All you need for a game is a candle, 2 mirrors, 3 chairs, and some objects from your childhood. Once you've kept all of these things in the basement, you'll leave the door open and go to sleep in your bed. Make sure you go to sleep in your own room. You will need to wake up at 3:30 a.m. and go to the room where you set up the things. If they're all still in their place, you can carry on with the ritual. You should sit on the chair you kept and wait for 3:33 a.m. with the candle lit in your hand. Don't let the candle die out. Don't look in the mirror. Instead, look at the darkest corner in the room. If you've done everything right, you'll feel a presence in the room at exactly 3:33 a.m. It should talk to you about your past. Some people have even said this game puts you into a lucid dream. We can't know until you try and share your experience. I've heard of that one a lot. I don't remember how you end the game, though. There's a very specific way that you're supposed to end that game, and I can't remember how. Okay. Everyone knows the Ouija board, but I will still read it for those who don't. The Ouija board is probably the most famous among these. The Ouija board has numbers and alphabet written on it, and it's said that the board was made to summon spirits from the supernatural dimension, and that it's said to have actually been able to summon Lucifer himself. Most of the researchers working on the paranormal have advised against casually using the Ouija board. They say it's a doorway to the unknown dimension, and you'll never know what happens if you casually use it. It's said once you've summoned a demon or a spirit, you should never ask for proof, such as blowing candles out or moving an object. If you do, you'll be given the demon permission to enter your world, and that, my friend, is something you do not want to do. One man hide and seek. I do believe this one came from Japan. Yep. The one man hide and seek originated in Japan and is originally called Hitori Kakerenbo. It's a game where you're playing hide and seek with a spirit-possessed doll. You need to take a stuffed doll, remove the stuffing inside and fill it with rice. Add a part of yourself in the doll, such as a hair or fingernail. You need to sew back the doll with red thread and wrap the doll with the red thread. You need to give the doll a name and keep it in a tub or basket filled with water. Then you should go on and turn off the lights in your house. Fill your mouth with salt water and go back to look for the doll, which you may not find in the tub now. You'll need to look for it, and then when you find it, pour the salt water over it and burn it. And then hide. And wait. But those who have tried say you won't have to wait for long. Before you know, someone's looking for you in the house. I've seen that one a lot. That one I'm familiar with. Will I ever do it? No. Did I read about it so much in my childhood that I had dreams about it? Yes. Alright, the Midnight Game. The most popular, commonly played game on this list, the Midnight Game, takes you to extremes if you want to play it. It's believed to be an old pagan ritual that was originally used to punish those who disobeyed religion. Playing this game, you summon the Midnight Man, and you need to keep running from him until 3:33 a.m. Make sure you don't get caught, or the unspeakable horrors await if you do. It's not very complicated to play this game, and it can also be played with more than one person. Just remember that those who've played this have strictly advised against the idea of playing it again. Some have reported hallucinations for days after playing it, and living in fear and misery for the rest of their lives. Who wants to play? Daruma-san. Daruma-san literally translates to the bath game. It's another game that comes from Japan. You summon a ghost or a spirit in this one too, and try to evade it. The ritual for this, however, differs greatly. You go to the bathtub entirely naked with all the lights in the house turned off. You sit in the bathtub facing the tap and start washing your hair. While you're washing your hair, you repeat the same exact words. Daruma-san fell down over and over again. You will soon see an image of a woman standing in front of the bathtub facing you. She falls down on the tap and injures her eye. You keep on repeating the words and finish washing your hair. Once you finish washing your hair, you will need to say these words just once. Why did you fall in the bathtub? Then leave and go sleep because the actual game will start the next day. You will constantly feel a presence near you, but you will need to keep some distance between yourself and the presence. You will always be on the run in case you feel a presence is too near. You need to turn around, imitating a slapping movement with your hands and say, Kita. I don't think I could do that one. Imagine just feeling a presence with you all day long. The Hooded Man. The Hooded Man is almost like the elevator game. It takes you to another dimension. This time, you're accompanied by the Hooded Man. You need to cleanse yourself before you can start playing one. Burn a sage, spread the salt on your front door to begin the ritual. At night, the same day, you need to go and call for a cab. Once the cab comes in, you sit in it, close the doors, and go to sleep. You will wake up at 3:30 a.m. Look at the time and fall back asleep again. But this time when you wake up, you'll see a hooded man behind the wheels, and the road you're driving on will be unfamiliar. If some of the other passengers climb in the cab, you should never pay attention to them. You can keep on traveling in this new world, or you can simply whisper into the hooded man's ear that you've reached your destination. Once you've whispered these words, you'll fall asleep again and wake up in your own house. Imagine calling a cab and falling asleep in the cab. The Closet Game. This game is more scary than the rest because here you'll not be summoning a ghost or a spirit, but a full-fledged demon. For this ritual, you'll need to stand inside a dark closet and hold up an unlit match. Then say out loud, "Show me the light or leave in darkness." If you hear someone whisper near your ear, light the match instantly. If you fail to light the matchstick soon enough, it's said that the demon will drag you into the deep, dark abyss from where there is no return. The same can happen if you start looking around when you hear whispering. You just need to light up the matchstick. When you light the match, you need to step out of the closet, making sure the match doesn't burn or blow off. But from that day on, you need to be very careful while looking for things inside your closet, since now it's haunted by a demon. Play at your own risk. Imagine summoning a demon just so it can live in your closet. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. The best conversation starter. Oh yeah, I summoned a demon. He lives in my closet. And I've named him Frederick. Just imagine that's like your conversation starter. Yeah, I just casually have a demon named Frederick who lives in my closet. He sometimes takes my clothes. He doesn't fit in them, though. He tries. I think that's like the best thing. Thank you for the hydrate. And for collecting your daily expired candy. And for still being here. Havoc, I was explaining this to some people. Or actually, you probably have seen it. You've probably seen it now that you've clicked the "you are still here." It explains it nicely. My foot fell asleep. My foot fell asleep. My foot fell asleep. There you go. Okay, guys, we're gonna go back to the midnight game so that you guys now know what the midnight game is, so that we can read the story of someone who actually played it, and they documented it with photos. So, guys, I just got work emails. I almost had to work super long. Actually, no, I did work super long today. We're gonna wait for this ad to go through. I'm gonna talk about work. We're gonna wait for the ad to go through, and then we'll scroll through. We'll go through this midnight game. It's been so busy at work. It's supposed to be our slow season, but it's literally the opposite of that. Literally the opposite. Okay. Perfect. Ah, sugar. It would be Okay, Sugar, One Piece. Welcome on in, Raiders. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nyx Oleander. My half light, half dark, half is a lot of horror games, puzzle games, escape games, and today we are reading scary stories. Bassy, welcome on in. Thank you for the follow. Sugar, welcome on in. One Piece, welcome on in. How was your games? How was everything? How was it all? I'm gonna switch out headphones too. And then so what we're doing, if you're interested in Sugar carries, Sugar always carries. Sugar, I think you might be interested in this. I think you may be interested. Wait, I gotta reconnect this. My earbuds just got disconnected. So, this is an actual game that you can play, and it's called the Midnight Game. And you are basically summoning a demon and trying to play hide and seek with it all night. Well, for a couple of hours, but it feels like all night. And so we're going to read someone's experience of it as they played it. And they have given us photos of their house to understand what they were going through when they played this. So we will go through the story. If anyone does need to raid and run, please feel free to do so. I know, Sugar, you were streaming for a while. So anyone who needs to raid and run, feel free to do so. If you want to stay around for the scary stories, feel free to do so. If you're too scared for them, that is completely alright as well. So, the Midnight Game. I played it, and I was a complete moron. I need to tell someone about this. Okay, so a while ago, a friend of mine sent me an intriguing URL saying, I suggest we do this sometime. Of course, I'm talking about the Midnight Game, which everyone here in the r/no sleep has known about for a couple of years at least. If you're unfamiliar, here are the set of rules. Let's open the rules. The Midnight Game is an old pagan ritual used mainly as a punishment for those who have broken the laws of the pagan religion in question. While it's mainly used as a scare tactic to not disobey the gods, there is still a very real chance of death to those who play the Midnight Game, and there's an even higher chance of permanent mental scarring. And it's highly recommended that you do not play the Midnight Game. But for those few thrill seekers searching for a rush, or those delving into obscure occult rituals, these are the simple instructions on how to play the Midnight Game. Do so at your own risk. It must be exactly 12 in the morning when you begin performing the rituals. Otherwise, it will not work. Materials required include a candle, a wooden door, at least one drop of your own blood, a piece of paper, matches or a lighter, and salt. If you're playing with multiple people, they will all need to have their own aforementioned materials and will have to perform the steps below separately. Step 1. Write your full name, first, middle, and last, on a piece of paper and put at least one drop of your own blood onto the paper. Allow it to soak into the paper. Step 2. Turn off all of the lights in the house. Go to your front door, which must be wooden. Place the paper with your name on the front of it. Now take the candle and light it. Place the candle on top of the paper with your name. Step 3. Knock on your own door 22 times. The hour must be 12 a.m. upon the final knock. Then open the door. Blow out the candle and close the door. You have just allowed the Midnight Man into your house. Immediately relight your candle. This is where the game begins. You must now lurk around your house completely dark with the lit candle in hand. Your goal is to avoid the Midnight Man at all cost until exactly 3:33 a.m. Should your candle ever go out, that means the Midnight Man is nearby, and you must relight the candle within the next 10 seconds. If you are unsuccessful in relighting the candle, you must then immediately surround yourself with the circle of salt. If you are unsuccessful in both of those, the Midnight Man will induce the hallucinations of your greatest fear, which will last until 3:30 a.m. If you are successful in creating a circle of salt, you must stay within the circle until 3:30 a.m. You must continue until 3:33 a.m. without being attacked by the Midnight Man or being trapped within the circle of salt to win the game. The Midnight Man will then leave at 3:33 a.m. and you will be safe to proceed with your morning. Addendum. Indications that you are near the Midnight Man will include the sudden drop of temperature, seeing a pure black humanoid figure through the darkness, and very soft whispering coming from an indiscernible source. If you experience any of these, it is advised that you leave the area to avoid the Midnight Man. Staying in one spot throughout the entire game will only result in the Midnight Man finding you. It is highly advised that you keep moving throughout the game. Do not turn on any lights during the midnight game. Do not use a flashlight during the midnight game. And do not go to sleep during the midnight game. Do not use another person's blood on your name. Do not use a lighter to substitute for a candle. It will not work. And definitely do not try to provoke the Midnight Man in any way. So we have read the instructions. Let's see. I, like most generic Redditors, don't have any belief in the supernatural, and I like to test little things like this as a way of amusing myself. And until this weekend, I've had zero respect for anything of this sort. I come into the sub to read creepypastas, but I've never had a genuine paranormal experience to the best of my knowledge. Just this past Friday, I remember suddenly when my friend told me about the midnight game. Since I wouldn't have an opportune time to do this otherwise, as I live with my mother and she's been spending the night often at my grandparents' house to care for them, I call Ryan up and ask if he's still in. Which he replies, and is this verbatim? Shit fucking yeah, I've been waiting for this call. Splendid, my friend, who we call Ryan, because his name is Ryan, picks up 2 giant Morton salt shakers on the way over. At around 10 o'clock. Alright, Ryan is basically the same as me. A smartass about things like this, but still a little apprehensive of the dark. And as he has admitted when he told me about it, he would never do this on his own, but would totally do it if someone else was with him. Before I could continue, I'll give you pictures of my house interior so you have a frame of reference. I took them just now, and I guess I'll be spoiling the account of what happened with these photos. If you don't want to look or don't care, that's fine for the most part. But I have to draw your attention to the photos of my back room. While that room was definitely a mess before we played the game, it wasn't nearly like that. The back room, called a Florida room, is basically a quarter of the house square footage, so we naturally wanted to include it, so we'd have as much space as possible. And I'll explain how it got to be the absolute wreck, as now I go through the chronology of the night. All the times were roughly accurate. I was wearing an analog clock and could check it every so often. So this is the bedroom. Bathroom. The spacier room. I thought that was a person. I thought that was a person standing right there. So now we have an idea of what their house looks like. 11:55 p.m. Ryan and I are getting our materials so we can write, brick, and knock on in the allotted time span. Ryan suggests that we throw the fuse, since turning on the lights means losing the game. But I don't really feel comfortable fumbling around with all of that. We just need to be disciplined about not turning on anything with power and we'll be good. 11:59 p.m. to 12 a.m. We execute our name cards really well, and I end up doing the honor of knocking. Ryan helps me synchronize the knocks, and I get it right on the dot. We blew out our candles and re-enter, lighting them again. As soon as we both have it lit, Ryan goes, lets out an oh. We both laugh and relax a little. From 12 a.m. to 12:45 a.m., you're supposed to move around or the Midnight Man is able to find you, or something. So we creep slowly, tracing the wall and staying in the more open rooms. We start to go towards my bedroom, but Ryan says he feels like it would be too cramped. Both of our candles are doing just fine, and as Florida nights are that time of year, the house is hot as expected. As we walk around, we talk and joke a little bit, though we were definitely both nervous to some degree. From 12:45 to 12:55 a.m., Ryan asked me if we're allowed to eat during the game, and I actually hadn't a clue and told him to go for it, if he can avoid opening the fridge, since I'm sure the light would disqualify us from the game. I actually don't know what he ate because I forgot to ask and was distracted by what he said when he came back. Into the living room, with full mouth he says, "When is the Nightman supposed to arrive?" And god darn it, I wish he hadn't said that because I reply with, "The Nightman?" And in that moment, I regret more than anything. I begin to say, "Dayman, champion of the night." Ryan chimes in an instant. Both of us are singing "The Nightman Cometh" from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Doing that was the single most stupidest thing I did, because the night was not the same from that point on. 12:58 a.m. The only reason I remember the exact time is I was looking at my watch by candlelight when the candle just went out. I didn't think I could panic like such a little girl. I quickly relit it with no more than 5 seconds. It was close, or I say something like that, and Ryan looks at me silently. He makes a weird face, and I ask him what's wrong. "What did you say?" he asked me, and I repeat myself. I said, "Shit, that was close." And he waves his hand and said, No, I heard that." What did you start to say right after that? Apparently, he had heard me whispering words immediately following what I had said. We move over towards the bathroom and the hallway pretty quickly. It's 1:25 a.m. We've been walking around slowly, but with a bit more purpose than before. No more joking around, not much talking between the two of us except necessary communication. And we both feel a little more humble than we had when we started. We both start to go from my bedroom towards my mom's room. And that's when I look to the right and into the hallway. And there is just a fucking figure standing in the tub, part obscured by the draw curtain. Our candles remain intact, so I grab Ryan's shirt firmly and speed walk towards the kitchen. Ryan didn't even ask me what was going on. Once we got to the far end of the kitchen, I asked if he saw it too. He did. And at that point, Ryan asked me if there was anything in the rules that lets you opt out of the game. He really did not want to continue, but he was too scared to turn on the lights and to find out what happened from there. So he continued with me. I don't know what I've done if he had left. 1:40 a.m. We're staying in the kitchen and the garage area, going back and forth between them, and I'm basically holding my breath whenever we go through a threshold, since I just expect to see him there. Things seem calm. Things seem to calm down a bit until around this time, I realize something horrible. Ryan, I ask, where's the salt that you brought? I didn't ask him because I didn't know, but because I didn't want to have to say it. He answered just as I thought he would. Your bedroom. Damn it, damn it, damn it, you son of a... We talk it over for a minute and basically conclude that we absolutely needed the salt if things go wrong. We start towards my room, and at 1:45 a.m., even though the kitchen and the bedroom were barely more than a 10-second sprint from one another, we don't dare do that. Any quick motion is basically just begging for your candle to go out, and I can't help but feel like running will provoke him. We inch our way towards the hall, and finally we have the same view of the bathroom that we had prior. I make myself look because I can't not. If he's still there, I want to know. And nothing. I just see a dark bathroom and nothing. I think that was the most relieved I felt all game, which is stupid because, as other players have mentioned, it seemed like optimism is enough to draw him to you. I walk through the hallway and into my bedroom, and I see the giant cylinders of salt sitting right in front of my computer monitor. As soon as I grab one of them, the room goes cold. All of the rooms in my house that never gets cold, it's my bedroom. My bedroom is the hottest in the house due to the horrible insulation, and yet I suddenly have the urge to shiver. I turn around immediately with the salt shaker in hand and another under my arm, and oh my goodness. Two things immediately catch my eye. I don't see Ryan, who had been behind me up until the hallway to the bedroom. I do, however, see the glow of his candle coming from around the corner, and I take a moment to wonder why he didn't come in to help me, since I only have one free hand due to the other grasping on the candle. And then I get my answer. The subtlest, most disturbing bob of my head to the left, right over my bed. I swear to you all, there was a figure sitting in the middle of my bed. His head had just moved. Between the cold, the lack of Ryan near me, and now this man who is silently perched on my bed, I lose my shit. I run straight out of my door, my candle miraculously staying lit. But I drop the salt shaker I had in my armpit, and I emerge with only one of them. I expect Ryan to get mad at me, but I round the corner, and his eyes are so wide that I became startled again. Go, 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 he said right before his candle goes out. I feel awful for this, but I kept looking back to the kitchen, turning around as soon as candlelight reappears from behind. I don't know how long it took him, but it definitely didn't exceed 10 seconds. And I try to apologize to him, and he tells me that, in all honesty, he would have done the same. We decided to basically avoid the east part of the house, since both times of seeing him involved my bathroom or my bedroom. The living room was where my candle had gone out the first time. We also discussed the salt shaker situation, coming to the mutual decision that if one of our candles fails, that the person will circle themselves and give the shaker to the other person to continue on. At this point, that happening is my biggest fear. For Ryan's candle goes out, him having to plant himself in the house, and me having to go traversing on my own for the rest of it, even though we had a 40-minute period of absolutely nothing. There wasn't a single ounce of relief to come with each passing minute. Relief felt like weakness to me, and weakness felt like something the Midnight Man would see. From 2:30 a.m. to 2:40 a.m., we decided to go into the Florida room for the first time all night. And it extends so long across the house that I feel like there are so many chances to see him just lurking. But I feel like staying in the kitchen and garage and dining area is going to do us in. So we enter. We have a tiny bit of light coming through the terrace windows from the streetlights on the avenue of next to ours, but it barely glows. The room is still very, very much dark. We do the only thing we can think of. Pace up and down it slowly, hoping that the last hour or so will go well. At 2:45, if you looked at the pictures, you'll see that there's a futon at the end of one room. Ryan and I sat on it just for a few minutes to rest. We'd basically been on our feet since midnight. Like an idiot, I let myself get hopeful at what time it was. We would be done with this nonsense in a very short period, and how we survived the He's right there. I look up and I see the blinds parted just a smidgen. And before I even look up, I see the darkened figure. I get out of bed and I darted straight ahead. I ran to about halfway through the room. In the most terrifying second of my whole life, something comes crashing down on me. My overactive imagination can only assume one thing. The Midnight Man materialized through the glass cylinder and pounced on me like a hunter from Left 4 Dead. But after a second or two, I realized what was on me. It was flat and scratchy. Ryan shouts up from behind me, and at first I assumed it was because he saw me get hit by a chunk of ceiling that had just swiped the side of my head. But no. His candle had gone out. Still holding mine, I turned, a great deal of pain still in my mind, to see him booking it towards me. Light your candle, I yell at him. But he doesn't respond to that. I notice that he isn't even holding his candle anymore, but the salt shaker. He does something that I had never even thought of. He starts to pour a salt circle around the both of us, an amorphous boundary that seemed to connect just fine. It was absolutely huge, and even though I have a lit candle inside of it with him, his face looked absolutely horrified. I have a brief terror of, now I have to go play by myself for the rest of the night, which is followed immediately by the sudden realization of, no I don't, and I blow out my candle. From 2:55 to 3:30 a.m. Oh Christ, I don't even want to talk about this part. The first thing my mind conceives upon blowing out the candle is that I made a really, really stupid decision. This is followed by reminding myself that I am already in the salt circle. And Ryan even says to me, God, I'm really glad you did that. Because the two of us are just sitting on this disgusting floor. The salt border honestly looking more of an acorn than a circle, but there aren't any gaps. We sit, and there is nothing but complete silence. My pupils are still getting cozy, with the idea of dilating after all that candle time, but I swear, I am seeing movement over on the futon where we had been. I don't ask Ryan to turn around to look with me. I just want it to end. Throughout the nearby 3/4 hour we spent in the cramped assault acorn, we both got chills at completely separate times. I heard a whisper, no, 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 like a mantra, for about 30 seconds. And when I looked at Ryan to comfort him, I'm horrified to see that he isn't the one saying it. But by the time the watch hit 3:33, we hadn't moved. We didn't leave the damn thing until at least 3:40. Both slowly and silently, we got up and turned every light on the house on. The afterword of this whole entire experience, I went to the bathroom to see what kind of mark the ceiling piece had left. As you could see, the ceiling that fell was clearly part of an already deteriorating room. The rest of the ceiling had fallen last summer, but there was no activity back there since. The fact that another large chunk would fall just as we were playing the midnight game, right after seeing him, and right as I'm underneath it, is staggeringly horrible. It's been a few days, so it isn't nearly as bad as it was, but this was a small gash that I was left with. I don't know if we want to look at it, because some people aren't comfortable with blood and gore. I've had horrible nightmares the past 2 nights. Horrible. People I know in places from my childhood, they'll be talking to me normally and calmly, and suddenly their eyes are pupilless. Their tongue is wagging, almost at absurdly creepy and as original Evil Dead. None of the dreams have involved in the Midnight Man, but I can't help but feel like I've lost. We shouldn't have shared the same salt circle, because I was never verified as workable in the rules. I shouldn't have blown out my own candle, even if I was in the circle. The circle was, as said, barely a circle. How have other players managed to do a circle in the dark? I don't know if I'm being tormented or if I'm just being paranoid. Ryan and I spoke the next day, and he had a nightmare as well. But his had to do with drowning and being resuscitated. And drowning again. I haven't spoken to him yet today, so I don't know if he had another bad dream or not. But this is what I'm going to tell you. Don't play the midnight game. There was nothing about it that was worth it. What did you guys think of the midnight game? Would you guys play the midnight game? Would anyone be interested in playing the midnight game? This is definitely a game I would not be playing ever. You can guarantee that. I would be caught dead before playing this game. For this reason exactly. We read. I would totally do this in Shrooms for Excalibur difficulty. I'm fine. So I have my door directly behind me, and it was open, and I had to close it because of the creepiness. I got a couple of chills when I was reading it. Just a couple. Just checking. Are you all right? So, let's see. This, I don't know if this was the bathroom that they saw the Midnight Man in. I think this was the bed that he was sitting on. The kitchen, probably. Nope, that's the garage. They didn't go in there, though. I wonder if this was part of the roof that fell in on them. Imagine just trying to dash through this kitchen. Yeah, so this was the bathroom that he was in the tub. Oh, and this was the other room. So if the PC's right there, she walked in, she grabbed the salt shakers from right there, turned around, and he's just sitting right there. Oh my god, he was in with arms reach with her. That's, oh my god, imagine being with arms reach with someone who's just sitting there on your bed and they're just a black mass. A void? That would be creepy. No, thank you. Yeah, I do. Let's find one more short story. Let's find a short one before I go to bed. Like, imagine just, hi, pretty. Nope, hi, Marshmallow. My cat is here. Hi, you want to say hi to everyone? You want to? Can you say hi to everyone? Marshmallow? No? Okay, bye. Kirito, hello. Marshmallow, you want to come back? Marshmallow, you want to say hi to everyone? Who? Marshmallow, come here. Marshmallow. No? That's fine. Let's read a couple of these. I was on a boat in the middle of the ocean. The rudder was good for quite a distance. It went very far, miles and miles and miles. One night, there's us and a handful of other boats on the water. A few fishing vessels, and our radar catches something moving extremely fast, going towards the other boats. Stay for a bit, pivot and go to the next boat, then pivot and come straight to us to do the same thing, and then it goes off radar. We thought it was a helicopter, but when it got to us, we saw nothing visually and heard nothing. No flashing lights of a typical aircraft and no sounds, just some radar ghost moving hundreds of miles an hour, stopping on a dime, pivoting and seemingly looking at all of the boats in the middle of the ocean, and then wandering off. It's like a little torpedo under the water. Oh, this one seems like it would be interesting. I worked at a gas station when I was just about out of high school, and was opening the store one morning around 5 a.m. Usually the manager of the store is there, but she had to go do something with her son, so she took off for about an hour, and during that time it was so slow. This guy walked in, completely covered in blood from head to toe. He had some torn up clothes and looked very completely out of it. Comes out to the counter and asks for some cigarettes. And I kind of paused and just asked, "You know you're bleeding a little bit?" And he looks down, literally dripping blood and swaying back and forth, and says, "I don't see it." He rummages in his pockets and I tell him I'm going to call an ambulance. And he freaks out and starts screaming at me, throws over a candy display, and just runs out of the store. My manager walked in maybe 10 minutes later and sees all the blood, and I had to explain it all. Only in America will a man be more afraid of an ambulance than bleeding out. Oh, this might be an interesting one. Marshmallow, what are you doing? When I was a teenager, I was home alone. I lived with my dad and he was away often. My bed was next to the bedroom door, which opened inwards, and I used to leave the hallway/stair light on, and my bedroom door half open for a bit of light. I was laying in bed one night around 10 p.m. with my room light off, just chilling before sleep. And you know how you get in that thin line of light at the hinge edge of the door? Well, something about 3 feet tall moved past it and briefly blocked the lights, as if it was coming into my room. I almost screamed. I lay there borderline panicking, not even daring to breathe with a taste of adrenaline in my mouth, my skin crawling and goosebumps all over. I eventually dared to move and turn on my light, then look outside my room and check the house. There was nothing there. I remember it like it was yesterday. I got no sleep and I watched films all night long. It really freaked me out for a long time. That's creepy. Have a good night, Charlie. We're probably gonna end soon because I do have to sleep in 30 minutes and I do have to get ready for bed. It's just so fun reading these. One more. Last one. I lived in an old house converted into apartments. The attic was huge and it was essentially a full story above the second floor. My bedroom closet was the space under the attic stairs. The front hallway and the staircase of the building wasn't really used, and all the doors leading it were locked. The door leading to the attic had 3 heavy padlocks on it. One night, as I was falling asleep, I hear heavy, slow footsteps coming down the stairs, and I can hear the wood in the stairs creaking under the weight. The footsteps stop at the bottom, and I hear nothing for a while. Just as I let out a sigh of relief that the noise stopped, a huge pounding thud hits the backside of the door, leading to the attic. It slams the door so hard I can hear the padlock bashing behind against it as they fall back down. I jump out of the bed and open my closet, staring at the backside of my stairs, listening to the insane smashing noise. I am imagining some monstrous thing slamming the door, and I freak out. Leave my room just as the noise stops. My mom and the neighbors are both woken up by this, and I tell them what happened, and they all look around strangely. People call out to the attic door and ask if anyone's inside or if they need help getting out. No response, and eventually, everyone just goes back inside their apartments. No more noises. Might or ever again. No one ever left the attic that night as far as I know. That's creepy. Imagine just like sleeping and then hearing the padlocks to your attic just start rattling. That's creepy. Do you have a Discord server? I do. And hello, Rose. Hello, Marshmallow. Marshmallow, can you say hi? Can you say hi? I think you guys probably heard him. Nick's is super duper ultra awesome amazing. No, that's you, Rose. And he's making biscuits on my arm. Marshmallow, can you let me get my mouse? Thank you. Hi, Marshmallow. Yes. This is the Discord server. There's a lot of discussion of bread in there recently. I feel like the only way to get people active in my Discord server is to talk about food. I feel like that's like really like the only thing. But I appreciate everyone talking in there as often as they do. I just wish it was a little bit more active, but again, that's also part of just me being busy. but I do wish the server was just a tiny bit more active. But I hope everyone enjoyed the stories. It's always so much fun to read Reddit stories. It was never something I was like, when I first started streaming, this wasn't something that I thought I would do. Also, part that I know that like my voice would not handle so much talking. But like lately I've been like listening to so many Reddit stories and people just read so many interesting things and I'm just like, oh my god, this would be so much fun. And like it would be relaxing and enjoying, creepy. I don't get to spend time with everyone. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. You want me to do a true crime podcast? I haven't had time to go back and do podcasts yet. Maybe we should do you guys want to do a true crime podcast Reddit? So in the Discord server actually, if there is a specific Reddit story that you want me to read, there actually is a channel in the Discord server where you can put links to your Reddit story. And I believe it is the story time channel. So whatever you want me to read on stream, if you put the link there, I will look at it and we will read it on stream.
Did that? Huh? Who did that? Tell me. Who did that? Why? Why'd you do that? Put your wallet down and
Yannick,
just go. Don't do that again.
Yannick.
Brother, put your wallet down and just back away. No.
Gotta go shower. Yannick, when you go shower, don't close your eyes for longer than 10 seconds. Or else Mr. Longfingers will get you. If you take a shower and you close your eyes longer than 10 seconds, Mr. Longfingers is gonna come after you. Yannick is alive. He was talking about the bread museum today. Okay. How many months is that? 30 months. Wait, reset for 30 months. Yannick's not dead. What do you mean? Okay, I'm gonna do my push-ups. This is a great timing because push-ups before sleep. Great timing. And for those who are new here, I do push-ups for subs. So, hello? I was about to do push-ups right here. Excuse you. Bingo. Can you stop looking at the door menacingly? Who's at the door? There's no one at the door. Bingo. Heard a bunch of scary stories. Don't look at the door like that. Don't look at the door like that. Stop looking at the door. There's no one there. Stop looking at the door. I'm gonna close the door because there's no one there. We're not doing this. Cats are the worst with that stare. I know, and she's just like staring at. So the door is partially like opened. Like there's probably like 3 inches to it that it's opened, and she's just staring directly at it. And I'm just like, stop. You're reading scary stories. Don't do that. That's literally the worst thing you could do. Alright, we're gonna do the push-ups. You guys can't do this when I'm trying to do my push-ups. 1, 2, marshmallow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, I forgot. My glasses are about to fall off. Okay. Push-ups. Push-ups. Oh my god. Okay. I think. Let me see which one of my friends are still streaming. Thank you. It's just bad when people spam it. That's the worst part. Shokin, can I ask, how did you find my channel? I feel like it's so because I haven't been streaming much, and so anytime like someone follows, I'm just like, where did you come from? But I'm glad you stayed for the stories, and I'm glad you enjoyed them. At least I think you enjoyed them. Let's see who's live. Hmm. There's a handful of people. Now what's streaming? I thought he would have ended with Quinn. Why is my Twitch being like this? Come on, Twitch. I know you can work. I know you can work. He's going for another couple of hours. Oh. Let's see. Someone's. Ooh, who is she playing with? Oh, okay. They're playing Devour. Oh, they're all playing together. They're okay, they're playing that. I don't know. Should we read? Oh, we should read. Guys, I haven't rated someone new. I haven't rated someone. Should we rate someone new? To be honest, random. I just browsed through the just chatting and saw your stream title. It seemed like a chill person from what I read it from your page and stayed. What is my title? Guys, I got a Nick stream. Guys, you guys forget that I'm streaming today out of Smite. I'm streaming today. I don't typically stream on Thursdays. So I'm completely streaming out of Smite today because someone was saying, I'm gonna catch your stream tomorrow. And they were telling me this yesterday. They're saying, I'm gonna catch your stream tomorrow. I was like, I don't stream Thursdays. And then today I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna stream today. Just out of spite. Oh yeah, Reddit stories. The stream's produced from Spite. I wanted to say this stream was sponsored by Spite, but I didn't know if that was his brand or not. So I didn't want to like say that this stream was sponsored by Spite. So I was just like, you know what? We're gonna say this stream is produced from Spite. So I was like, let's just do that. Let's see. I haven't done this in a while. Like a while. We're gonna rate someone new today. So let's see. And when I rate someone new, what I end up doing is I go to the live section and I scroll through Twitch to see who is streaming, what game they're streaming, and what their vibe is. So I do take a look at their vibe a little bit. Your stream was what I was looking for, so thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you were able to find my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. I don't. We're gonna have a stream tomorrow, but I don't know what we're gonna do. We could do a couple more Reddit stories. I think that would be fun. I think doing a game tomorrow would be fun too, but I just don't know what game. Not sure what game I would want to play. And I did not get a chance to pause that. Dang it. Wait, why did Twitch change so it's hard to find more people? Can I just refresh and see if I find more people to raid? Why is it so hard to find people? Okay, we're gonna search. We're gonna search and we're gonna see who is streaming. Hmm. No, I don't know why this isn't working. There we go. Now I'm finding people. Let's see. Who is live? Who should we raid out to? Who is someone new that I haven't raided out to? There's so many people. There's also so many people I just don't know. I think I want to raid to someone who's not doing a collab. We're gonna look for someone who this person's doing art. There's gonna be more people. There we go. So there's gonna be more people who are streaming. And there's no way there's just this little people. Let's say we could do this person, maybe. There's so many people doing collabs. Holy. I want someone who's not partnered. I'm getting everyone who's partnered. Okay, we'll scroll back up. There was one person I was looking at. Unless I can find someone else. Hold on, this person seems kind of interesting. Hold on, this person's title on just Boogie looks very interesting. And I'm very curious. We're gonna raid this person. This is funny. We're gonna raid this person. So their name is Birdseed. They are playing the cat lady. They are playing the cat lady. And their title is kind of funny. Their title is Actively Not Listening to the Morally Righteous Villain Because I Really Just Don't Care and Want to Go Home Already. And their Fugi is a hawk. So we're gonna rate them because I kind of want to watch this. So their name is Birdseed. So here is the raid message for if you are not subbed. Here is the sub raid message if you are subbed. Pick whichever one works best for you. And we are gonna raid on over. Don't forget to interact with the chat, and all you have to do really is just copy and paste the raid message to be counted as a viewer for the next streamer that we are going to be raiding. It's gonna mean a lot to the streamer. It means a lot to me. So please copy and paste the message, and that's all you have to do. You don't even have to say hello. Just copy and paste the raid message, paste it in the chat, and send it, and you are good to go. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll figure out what we're gonna play. We might do some Labyrinthine with friends. We might do Outlast with friends. We might do something solo games. Find out. Might do puzzle games. We might do more Reddit. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you, everyone who's here. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the follows.